once again from the Diocese of Sacramento, my warmest greeting to all of you. Let go and let God. Let go all the worries, anxieties in life. And let God take over it. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Hakuna Matata. Don't worry, be happy. Today is April 20 and it's Wednesday. And I will be meditating on the Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, 13 to 25. That very day, two of Jesus' disciples were going to a village 7 miles from Jerusalem called Emmaus. And they were conversing about all the things that had occurred. And it happened that while they were conversing and debating, Jesus himself drew near and walked with them. But their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing as you walked along?" They stopped, looking downcast. One of them named Cleopas and said to them in reply, "Are you the one only visitor to Jerusalem who does not know of the things that have taken place there in these days?" And he replied to them, "What sort of things?" They said to him, "The things that happened to Jesus the Nazarene, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people. How our chief priests and rulers both handed him over to a sentence of death and crucified him. But we were hoping that he would be the one to redeem Israel. And besides all this, it is now the third day since they took place. Some women from our group, however, have astounded us, and they were at the tomb early in the morning and did not find his body. They came back and reported that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who announced that he was alive." How this thing happened? Then some of those with us went to a tomb and found things just as the women had described, but him they did not see. And he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are! How slow of heart to believe all the prophets spoke. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted what referred to him in all the scriptures. As they approached the village to which they were going, he gave the impression that he was going on farther. But they urged him, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening and the day is almost over." So he went there to stay with them. And it's nearly evening. It happened that while he was in with them at table, he took bread, said the blessing, broke it, and gave it to them. With that, their eyes were opened and they recognized him, but he vanished from their sight. Then they said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he spoke to us as the way and opened the scriptures to us?" So they set out at once and returned to Jerusalem, where they found gathered together the 11 and those with them who were saying, "The Lord has truly been raised and appeared to Simon." Then the two recounted what had taken place on the way and how he was made known to them in the breaking of the bread. Magnificent gospel. Gospel that we need to reflect and meditate that Jesus walked with us. Gospel to reflect, fascinating one, especially at this moment of Easter. The Easter season reminds us that Jesus is risen from the dead and he is fully alive. In no time, a stranger caught up with them, and after praying into their sharing, he took over the floor and he explained the whole thing. The two whose eyes were downcast because of sadness and grief and loss, but with ears and hearts open. When they reached their destination, the stranger gave the impression that he was still going farther, but they urged him to stay with them, for it was already dark. The stranger graciously accepted their invitation. To their amazement, At the breaking of the bread, the stranger guest was no other than the risen Lord. It was Jesus Christ who opened their mind, their heart, and their life. Their concern for the safety and well-being of the stranger made possible for the great miracle to happen. It's the same miracle that Jesus did during Holy Thursday, the Eucharistic meal, the Holy Eucharist. If they did not invite him to stay for that night, he would just have passed by their lives. Our life is an Emmaus walk, a colorful journey, challenging journey of faith passing through life experiences. And the truth is, in every experience, in every shortcomings, trials, storms, problems, anxieties, restlessness in our life, Jesus is there with us. Jesus is always part on our journey. We have only to open our eyes of faith and love to see Him in the people we encounter each day. We cannot ignore the people who are suffering at this time, especially the poor, unemployed, those who are victims of war, victims of any tragedies of life, those people who are isolated, loss, grief, and who are suffering because of the pandemic, who are suffering because of the death of a loved one. My brothers and sisters, we are Easter people. We have to encourage one another that the Lord is fully alive. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and He gave us the grace and blessing. Today, we encounter the Lord in the Eucharistic meal. We shall continue to bring His presence into the world that we live in, so that we can make a difference.